Hey everyone, thanks for joining. We're just going to give it another minute. We've just got a few more people trickling in, so just sit tight for a minute and I'll be back. Alrighty, thanks everyone for taking the time out to join us today. This is our third webinar for 2026 in a series of webinars that are running over the next few weeks and months. So if you want to check out some more, make sure you go to our website govreports.com.au/webinars and see what else is out there. The next one is actually on Thursday. My name is Tony. I'm the Sales and Partnerships Manager here at GovReports. I've got with me also on the call Tiana. Tiana's been around since day dot. Many of you have probably met her. She'll be helping me out if I get stuck today as I'm relatively new. The focus of today's webinar, we're going to talk about the eSignature component of GovReports, which is quite an interesting piece of the puzzle. We'll go over that in detail. But first, I'll tell you a little bit about GovReports. If there's some of you here that are not sure who we are, I'm sure many of you would know us, have probably bumped into Tiana around the traps, but if you're not sure who we are, back in 2010 we had the idea to create a cloud-based tax lodgement solution, and still to this day we think we've got the best solution on the market. We continue to build new features, new integrations every month. There's a lot coming out in 2026, so make sure you stay tuned. And as of this year, we now have crossed over the 4,000 client mark across Australia. So a lot of those are tax agents and BAS agents like yourselves, but we've also got direct businesses, big and small. So there might be small businesses that need to just do some simple STP or some other lodgements. And there's also some large enterprises that use us for more complex franchise type work and multi-reporting and so forth. So it's an absolute testament to the team. They've done an amazing job, but that is the core of who we are and what we do. A little bit of housekeeping. So you won't have a chance to speak on the microphone today. You'll unfortunately have to listen to myself, but don't forget you can pop your questions in the questions panel. We do encourage it. So we don't want this just to be a monologue. If we wanted that, we could just easily record and send it to you guys later on. So we want a bit of interaction. So on my screen on the top right, there's a little questions panel with a question mark. So pop those questions in as we go. We're going to endeavour to get to those as we go along. If we don't get time as we go along, we'll make time at the end to cover off those questions. Okay. So if they do pop in your head, please pop them in, and we'll get to those. Okay. So let me just change my screen here. I'm just going to share a different window here. I'm going to go into this one. I'm just going to go ahead and refresh this, make sure I'm logged in okay. Okay, so this is the eSignature component of GovReports. Now, although it's thoroughly integrated into GovReports, it kind of runs in a separate window. So on this little Rubik's Cube up here is where you can flick between the actual GovReports, the everyday product, or if you're in GovReports, you'll be able to flick between GovReports and the eSignature. So I just thought I'd point that out. So if you are looking for it, it'll be up here in this little Rubik's Cube. Now, this product is a proprietary product built by us. So a lot of people ask us, is it a DocuSign? Is it an Adobe sign? No, it isn't. We've built our platform from the ground up, and we wanted to continue to do that through the eSignature component. So again, this is focused on, largely tax work. So we want to try and make it as good as possible in terms of that same sort of workflow. We didn't really want to be long. We didn't want to try and fit something else into a tax workflow box, if that makes sense. So it is completely built by us. and I'm going to start by running you through a few of these components, okay? So this is kind of the opening screen you'll get when you log into the eSignature feature. And if we come up the top here, we can see I'm in the Documents tab at the moment. So currently, this is all the documents I have in the system that I'm looking to send out for signature. Or it could even just be sent out without signature, if it's up to you. So you can see a little bit of brief on what the returns are, the clients are. You can see the status of the returns. So are they in draft? Are we waiting for a pending signature? Has there a correction been issued? What else do we have here? And has it been signed? Okay, so there's a really good indication of where you're at with your documents. You can see the sender in this case is good old Ricky Pointing, so that's one of our demo accounts. And then over here on the action bar, we've got actions based on the status of the return. So if it's in draft, we could go ahead and click continue, and we could continue on to send that out. If it's pending for signature, we can click remind, and I'll show you these a bit later to send out a reminder. For instance, if it's expired and we just wanted to take a look at it, we can just go on and view that. Okay, so they're all customized depending on the status. So that's what's in the system at the moment. Now, to get the documents into the system, we can go ahead and create a new document, which I'll come back to in a minute, or we could actually bring them straight in from GovReports itself. So I'm just going to switch my screen up here again, just because I'm flicking between tabs here, and I'll go that one there. Okay, so this is, now we're back in GovReports, and if you notice again with that little Rubik's Cube, that's where the eSignature called the digital authentication pops up. So if you're going to go from GovReports into the eSignature, that's where you go into it. I've got an example here of I'm in my clients tab, so I'm on the client level. I've got an example here of an individual tax return. Now, in order to get the return to flow through to the eSignature, it must be valid, which means essentially there must be no errors on the report. So we will go and click Forms. Oh, a sec. Just let me refresh this. Okay, let's go again. So we're going to click Forms. There we go. We can select individual tax return. Now, this tax return's already been created and it's valid, so I'll just click on Edit just to show you anyway. And now, let's see where this takes us. Just bear with us, it is a demo account, so there's a lot of people on there testing, and it's okay. So again, the webinar is not about this part of the system. This is essentially the return system, but if I go all the way to the end, I can then go down to these options below. So we would go send for signature, okay? Now it's going to open up the eSignature component of the product. So I hope that makes sense to get from GovReports into the eSignature component. I just thought I'd show you that. But I now want to come back to the eSignature itself, which is this one here. Okay. It's going to refresh this again. Okay, now we're back. So that's the documents part. Now we're going to go into the contacts. So I'll run across the top here. So you can, again, manually add contacts, or you can sync them with your GovReports account. So if you want to sync these contacts with GovReports, just a matter of clicking this button, it will do a sync and just say sync successfully, hopefully. or we can go in and create a new contact from scratch if, for whatever reason, that client isn't in GovReports. Now, I should also mention that you can use the eSignature component for your own documents as well. So not just for the returns through GovReports. So we've got I guess a small practice management suite within GovReports if you're a small practice. If you're a larger practice, you usually have to jump up to a dedicated practice management solution. But if you're a small practice and you wanted to do, say, issue engagement letters, for example, you could do that through GovReports. Okay, so just be a matter of putting the contacts in, and I'll just put a bit of stuff in here. Okay, now this security code here is for, again, you've got a few options which I'll show you later on. So there's three options. We do say take security seriously. So if you, as part of your engagement process, let's say if you wanted to issue the client a security code that's going to remain fixed for a certain period of time, you can do that through here. So this is where you would set it. So let's just say, the last four digits of your client's phone number is 1234, for example. You might set that there. When you create that, that will be fixed in the system, and then when they receive emails through the eSignature component, they'll have to enter that code. Okay, now if you think that's not your preferred method, there is another way to do it as well, which I can show as well. So don't stress if you think you had to do that and people never remember their code, etc. Okay, so that's the contact section. Again, you can go in. So this test one that I just put in, you can just go and see the details anyway if you wanted to double check the security code or something like that. Then we come up to the signature part. So this is where you'll set up your signatures and your initials. A lot of documents, as you know, these days will require both. So, the test account here is, his name is Ricky. So pretty simple. I've just selected, this handwriting style one, which, is just nice and easy. You can change the color as well. I'd probably stick with black personally, but if you want to go blue or green, that's fine. You can draw it in as well if you want to, or you can upload your own signature if you've got your own default signature. I know there's some AI signature generators out there, which is looks quite nice these days. So if that's your thing, you can go ahead and upload that. Same with the initials, exactly the same, just all the same options. So I'll just cancel out of that. Okay. Now go into messages. And this is where you can set up your default template for the emails to go out. So I've just put one in here, default template. So I can just go in and view that, and I've just got please review and sign, please review and sign attached documents. You can go ahead and edit that. Okay, so you can make any updates to that. You can of course delete it, and you can create new as well. So same sort of thing. You just type in what you prefer it to say. I'll just make it nice and simple, and we'll go save. You can also share it with others. Sorry.
Just also make a note. There's placeholder on the top right that you can see there. Mm-hmm. You can use them. Previously, many of the requests was to be able to also edit the subject. So now you can also edit the subject, as you can put in the subject. As you can see on the left hand side, the subject Tony has put please review and sign. So you can now also set up the subject as well, and using the placeholder, so you can then reuse it for all the clients that you have within the system.
Oh, amazing. Yeah, I was wondering that today, so that's great. Okay, so you can pop that in as well. Fantastic. I'm just going to cancel out of that. Okay. I'm going to come back to documents now. Now, we'll go to one here that is, say, out for signature. Now, this is kind of the advantage of using GovReports, the eSignature feature, because it's all tied in together. So we do have clients using other eSign programs, but the problem is if you're using another program, you'll have to manually update the status, whereas if you keep it within GovReports, it will automatically update. So if you send a document out for signature, it will know, okay, we're waiting for signature. Once they sign, it will know, okay, this, that person signed. So with this one here, pending.
Sorry,
Sorry,
Tony.
Tiana.
That's also the new feature that we've recently added in 2025. For those that been using the system, occasionally I've hear every now and then you have a client that just for whatever reasons can't use the eSignature, or like they come into the office and sign it directly. So you can change if you already have sent it to the clients for eSignature, but the clients then turn up into your office and want to sign on paper, you can also manually update the system. So first you need to cancel the eSignature document that already has been sent out, then go to your save reports and manually update that it has been signed, paper signed or whatever. You can create those statuses and then update into the system, so that if one day there's an audit and then you need to get a copy of that signed document. So if you go back to the client's profile and you make enough sufficient notes, so for that period the client signed by paper, but the status is signed, and you can say paper signed, or it could be email approval or something like that. Whatever it is, you need to put it. You need to create the status, or if you're not your status is not sufficient, then you put file note on the client's profile, so that if, as I mentioned, if there's an audit one day, you can go back to the client's profile and wanting to know where that signed document is. At least if it's not in the system, then you need to look at the file note to locate the document.
Yeah, amazing. Thanks, Tiana. So I think the point there is there's a lot of flexibility. If you do need to do manual adjustments, or like Tiana says, if someone old school client that's like, I don't even know what eSignature is, I want to do it on paper, there's a lot of flexibility for you to adjust that as you go. So if we go to this pending signature one, we can come over to the action here and see how it says remind. So maybe we sent that out. So we can go and click in that. We can look at when did we send that out? Who did it go to? Who needs to sign it? The access security, which we spoke a little bit about earlier. So there are 3 security levels. The first one is no security. The second one is that security code we spoke about, where you could have that as part of their engagement to say, well, every time we send something out, this will be your code will be 1, 2, 3, 4, whatever it might be. Or my preferred method is you could have the inbuilt security where each time the email is sent out, there's an additional email that comes out with a randomly generated security code. So the recipient has to enter that code to view that email. I subscribe to a service in the United States, and they use Google. I think it's called Google Confidential Mode or something. And it's the same sort of thing where they send me the email, then I have to click and say, send an access code, and then they send me another email, I get the access code, put it in. So it's just that extra layer of security, which is quite good. Also in here, we can correct. We can do some corrections if we want to. We can see the docs that are in here that was sent out. Okay, so we can go in and view those. I'll click in here, see if this will bring up this document. It's gonna. Can you see that now, Tiana?
Yep.
Yep. Cool. Yep. Great. So that would be. So you can view the actual document that went out, just in case you're not sure what's going on, who it's for, what it was. So. That's a pretty detailed document. Okay, and then you can also download it. So you can just, for whatever reason, if you don't want to send it out, or just the client doesn't want you to send it out digitally, you can just download it anyway. You can make it void if for some reason maybe something's happened, you have to redo it, or that one just was one of those mistakes you made, or you just want to void it. That's fine. You can go ahead and void it. You can archive it. Obviously email it out, that's kind of the point. Not sure. Oh, that's right. So in these settings, you can set up the reminders and the expiration. So you could automatically set it. So, once you send out something for signing, you could say, well, in a week, can you send a reminder email if they haven't signed it? And then you can set an expiration date, just probably because, some things you just don't want to get, too far out. It's just something like, I submitted a document, I think last night, something accountant related, and it had to be within 90 days, and so that expired, so I had to sort of go and do it again. So it's a pretty useful feature.
The correction,
Okay.
Sorry, Tony.
Yep.
The correct feature or the new button that you can see there, this is the new feature. Previously, we did not have that. So once you send it out for eSignature for the clients to sign, unfortunately, you could not, at that time, you could not do further changes. Now you can. So if, as Tony mentioned, after you send it and then, perhaps instead of sending it to you want to send it to a different email instead of the email that you sent it to the clients previously, you can now go in to correct and change the email address, or you can also change to, if you forgot to add the automatic reminder or the expiry date, you now can go back in to that original document that you sent out, make adjustments and resend it with the corrections. So yeah, that's the new change that you can see now.
Amazing. Yeah, and it is quite new. I had to ask Tiana what does that correct button mean today? So so thanks for pointing that out. Okay, we've also got so again, you can see the message, you can see any detail about when it's going to expire, and then we've got the activity log, so you can see who sent it, when it's been sent. Can you actually see? Yeah, of course. Yeah, you can see from the other end if they've signed it, where they've signed it, if they've dated it, etc. Whatever's required on that particular paperwork.
It's also funny on this feature. Occasionally, like we get client calls in and said, "Oh, my clients never got it. It's something wrong. Can you check on your system?" And then we go, "Can you check your activities, the activities on the document that you see, and see whether your client actually received it, or if it's actually received and whether they trying to log in, you can see all of those activities." And that's what exactly you're seeing, that the clients have gone in, they play around, they place the signature, they look at the date, locations, etc., but they didn't sign it, right? And so you can actually see all these activities. Your client is telling you another story.
Yeah, and I think probably everyone on this call would have been in that situation before, where we sent invoices out and the client says, "No, I never saw that," and we go and look and they've opened it 3 times, right? So
I've got 2 questions. Yep, sorry, Tony. I've got questions coming in at the moment. The first question, can we please get a security code when we email document as PDF? This is from Natalia. Can we please get a security code when we email document as PDF from this screen? Not too sure. Natalia, can you confirm what you mean by security code when we email document as PDF?
Oh, so are you saying can you do it from this screen, or do you have to go to the other screen where you're actually dragging the documents in and sending them out? Do you know what I mean, Tiana? So if I go to one of these ones in draft and go continue, which takes us into the screen. So this is where you can set the security access. So I'm assuming Natalia is asking, can you only do it here, or can you do it back on the previous screen? I think that's what you're asking, but I could be wrong.
No, that's not my understanding of the question. So Natalia, can you clarify your questions? Yeah, sorry. I'll just jump into the next questions.
Yep.
As well. What's the next? Oh,
wow, there's a few coming through.
Can you see the questions? I've just disappeared on me.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Sorry, I can see the questions now.
Yeah. Okay. Great.
Yep. There is an envelope button. Can you go back to this one of the documents that you open the document?
Going there?
Yep. Continue. And where's the envelope? All right. So can you get the security code? Natalia, because it's random, so if you want to choose the security code, to use the client security code, that will pop in there. But if it's a random security code to the email address, that would be random, and so that when the clients click on it, the system would then generate.
Yeah, that would make sense.
Okay, just a question from Jocelyn. I can't locate the ability to amend the status if the person signed a paper printout. Jocelyn, as I mentioned, if you already have sent to the client for e-signature and the client didn't sign it, but they might have signed by paper for you, or they email it and give you the approval to go ahead and lodge the documents, then you need to go to the digital authentications applications, void the documents that has been sent out to the same clients and say the client signed by paper, right? So you would have record on the system. Then once you void it, the save report that you have in the GovReports will be valid status, but there is no sign. That's when you go into the signed status and then manually update to create the statuses in your account, and then manually update the signed status. Okay, hope that clarified. And there's a question from Diane. Is there any way that you can add a red receipt as well? Add a red receipt. Not too sure what you mean by that. So the receipt.
So it should mean, obviously, can we see when they've read the document? But that would be in the history here, correct?
Your recent the activities on the activities log.
Yeah. So she might be asking, can it be included in the sort of the shot here?
No,
can another column be added?
Sometimes you would have to, the clients would, go in the first time, they read it and then they sign it, but then there will be clients that go back and forth. Not too sure that, that's where we would see on the activities, the activities log. So perhaps you can clarify that, Diane, if that's all right. And then the main screen. Natalia. Michelle, there's a question for Michelle. If we are sending out our own document, do we set up where the client signs? Just see. Come on. Do we set up where the client signs, or does the client have to navigate through and choose where to sign? Michelle, if you are sending your own document, similar, exactly the same process, our system does not read your document, so you need to mark where the client needs to sign. So, when you upload the file there, you can see the file upload, and then when you go to next, then you mark where the client needs to sign. Hope that clarifies. And then the next,
and I'll take you through that in a minute.
I see. Natalia has, Natalia, I'll come back to you with your questions, because, yeah, she's saying that it's, okay, we'll come back to Natalia. Tony?
Yeah.
Thanks, Tony. Yeah, I'll come back to
cool.
Diane and Natalia.
Yeah. Keep those questions coming, everyone, because as I said, even if we can't get to them, we'll stop at the end, or we can always just chat with you offline afterwards. So just keep them coming in. Couple more things. We covered off documents, contacts, signatures, and messages at the top. The next row down is just some really simple but useful filters around, just showing me the ones that have been sent. or show me the ones that are pending signature, or show me the ones that have been, archived, etc. So that's really handy. There's no sort of drop boxes or just sort of, things to navigate through. They're all just right there. So I find that really handy. The next row down as well, we can remind. So again, if we want to send out similar to that remind button, we would select the ones we want to remind, hit remind. We can void, again, same as before. If we just want to get rid of it, we can void. Now, I understand the void, if you do void it, the client will get a notification versus if you delete it, they won't. Is that correct, Tiana?
Sorry, I missed that. I'm
Sorry,
just reading
Tiana's
the
probably
question.
busy on the questions. I was just saying, with the void option there, I understand that if you make it void, the client will get notice of that, but if you delete, they won't. Is that?
That's correct.
Is that kind of how? Yeah. Okay. Cool. Yeah. Perfect. So just an important distinction there. If you're wondering, well, what's the difference? Well, one notifies a client, one doesn't. And then archive, which is obviously just archiving it, pretty standard. Okay. So we've kind of covered off this screen. So now we're going to go through to the actual sending and setup of the documents. Okay. So in this case, I've already brought a form through, which you can see in the top left there. It says it needs to be signed. Now, again, if you were doing this sort of the other way through GovReports, this document will flow in, and you could drag it into. Oops. Sorry, I've got a touchscreen computer here, and this Windows has popped up. One sec. Okay. You would drag the documents in that need to be signed, or if there's documents that need to be viewed as well, you drag that into the one for view only. So in a lot of cases, like my wife's a BAS agent, she just showed me today that for one of her clients, you would need the BAS to be signed, but then she dragged in a bunch of other documents. I'm not sure what they are. I'm not a bookkeeper or accountant, but sort of supporting documents for that main signed document that they would have to view. Okay, so you can drag those in. And then for the recipients, you can set the recipient. There's a whole bunch of options here. We can add more recipients if we want to. We can also set the signing order as well. So let's just say someone needs to view a document before they sign it. You could set that up, or all the other way around, but you can just literally drag and drop these in the order that they would go out to be signed in, if you choose to. Okay, so if it needs to be, partner A and then sign first and then partner B, that can be organised. If you don't need that signing order, you can just turn that off. Okay. So you've got the email. Sorry.
Or you can also use it, where you need to get client's authority. The client needs to sign it first, and then perhaps the principal or the agent need to sign after. And if you are the supporting staff in the practice, you send it out for the clients to sign. When the client sign it, that's when it's, that's when it goes to the principal or the tax agent or the BAS agents to sign it off before the document is ready for submissions or for records.
Perfect.
So you can change the order.
And then, yep, can change the order, and so it's very, very customizable. And then we've got the email of the person, the name, whether they need to sign, they need to view, or they just receive a copy. So that's pretty important as well. So you can pick, which is which, and all your clients are different, right? Some people just might need to, the board or something might need to just receive a copy by regulation or something like that. So you can add those people in, and that way, at one click of a button, they can all get the documents that they need to get. And then over to the security code again. So again, no security. You can use the existing client security code that we said early on that would be set up in the system. We can set our own security code if you want to, or we can send that security code to the email address separately. That's my preferred one, but completely up to you. Now down to the message. So again, as we showed before, we can have a whole bunch of templates set up. So if you've got, you know, maybe just one pretty standard message that you like to send out, just please review and sign, you can do that. If you've got, you know, 5 or 10 different ones, you can do that as well. And down here, you can actually save it. You can save the messages. You can manage your saved messages as well. And as we spoke about before, for the reminders, you can set that reminder and also the expiration. And again, it's got the placeholder button as well if you want to automatically put names and so forth in. And now we're going to go to next. So once we've got our documents in there, we've got the people that we want to sign, the order, we've got our message set up, we can go ahead and click next. You could save it as draft and come back to it later as well if you want. Okay, so now it's going to bring up these documents and it will tell you, okay, John needs to sign, Tiana needs to sign. Now, it's pretty standard that, you know, obviously you'll have to put a signature field in here. Now, this one's already got signature fields. I can actually, I did this earlier. I can just delete, delete field. So we'll just remove that field just because it's already had fields in there. So I'm just going to remove this one as well. Okay. But in normal circumstances, you would go to, you know, signature. You can drop that in there. That will tell you John Kennedy. It's a required field. Okay. You can also put in some tips if you like about the signing. And then just like most good signature products, it's got a whole bunch of options around, you know, do you want to put other comments and buttons and check boxes and initials and whatever you want to put in the documents. And again, it could just be dependent on what document that is and how detailed you want to get. And then, so that's the fill and sign for the receiver. And then there's also the sender fill and sign as well. So
Yep. For those that are already using GovReports, you notice that on the left-hand menu that you for the recipients, there's a lot more fields that you can now use as well. So if you are getting the clients to fill out the form, you can now use the checkbox. You can use the radio button, comment, so that they can fill out the form as they need to. And of course, you can also have the drop down, the text, so they can fill out, you know, where it's text that you want your clients to fill out the form. You can put in the text button, and then they can put in the answers to the questions that you have on the form. I've got a questions, further questions from Natalia. Okay, can we also get financial reports to be generated for digital authentication? I think that's one of the things that we haven't got yet, but I'll make a note with our team, Natalia, to have that as an option as well. And then there's another question from Natalia. Is it possible to change your default message for all clients without creating, let me open that, without creating your own messages? To change default message for all clients without creating your own message.
Yeah. Oh.
Do you mean that the same default message, you know, for all clients, for all forms, for whatever that you send, you know, you only use that?
Or is it a,
because there was an option. If you there's an options where you can only use, you can choose to only use your own your own messages. Well, Tony's going to cover also the options where you set the preference. You can set the preference that you can use your own default message only.
Is that this one here?
Yep, that's that button. But also, if you go to the settings, there's the preference settings, and you can also set that going forward. All staff can use your own messaging, and that's the other thing too. So if you've got more than you've got staff working for you, and you want, once you set up the default the cover, the templates or the messages, you can share that with all your staff so that they can use the same cover email each and every time they send out to clients as well. That's another change that we have implemented in 2025. But we walk through that. We'll go through that shortly.
Yeah, let me just pick this one again. Okay. Okay, so once all your forms are filled out, you can literally just click send. So as Tiana said, it might be more than a signature. It might be you might need to fill out a bit more of the form, and you can put all those boxes in there now, which is great. You can also preview as well. So if you want to see what the email looks like that your client will get, you can preview that. Now the preferences, Tiana. So I must have missed that one. Where do I go for that?
So if you go to settings on the top of your screen, so if you cancel this, save as a draft.
Yeah. Over here.
Right, and then you go to the settings.
Yeah.
Right,
Preference.
and then you go to preference settings. Right, so you now can have, when you're sending the emails, do you want the email to be sent, as with the principal details, so with the tax agent's details or the BAS agent's detail, or you want the partner's details, or you want the sender's detail rather than your staff? You can choose that. So that, depending on your settings, your account settings, so you got partners, you got the principal, and you got staff working. But if you want the staff to, when the staff sending out, whose details that will be sent there, you can also set default reminder and default expiry as well. So for some practice, we've noticed that they prefer just the standard, like default reminders and expiry, so they don't need to repeat that every single time. Then you also have the acknowledgement and notification, acknowledgement of recipient. So you, as you said, I think this is what you meant earlier. So receipt of there was a question about the receipt, confirm receipt. So this is the acknowledgement, notification, receipt from the recipient or from the sender. So when when you send and the clients open it, so there's an acknowledgement that the client has received it. Is that the receipt that you're asking for? I think that was a question from Diane, right? And that's there. Send a summary email on expiry. Oh, well, there's a few options there that you can also do as well. And once you customize your preference settings and save it, that will apply. As I mentioned before, if you create messages, and the other thing is the messages. So if you create your own messages, you want to share that with your staff so that they don't have to set up the same templates on their accounts. You can share that with them as well. Okay.
Okay. Where were we? Is there any other things you want to cover in the settings, Tiana?
The other thing, if you, I know that for some of you, you might already, this is not new, but if you need to check what has been sent out to the clients, and sometimes, like the clients probably come back to you and go, I never got the code that gets sent to me. You can check on the email log to see the time that it was sent and when they sent it, when the clients receive it, and when the clients ask the clients when they open the documents. You can see all of these activities beside the activity logs, but you can also see in the email log the actual email that was sent out from the system for the code, for them to receive the code. You can see all of these things and double check with your clients if it's matching with their records. Because if they complain that they can't read, maybe it's in the, they didn't receive it, maybe it's in their spam folder, but it's definitely sent. Unless it's it's actually say failed to send for whatever reasons, then the clients probably wouldn't be able to get access to it in the first place either. So yeah, it's the whole system. It's quite transparent, and it should be able to support you with it's just knowing where to look and what to like what to search for, so that you will be able to get access to those features.
Right. Have I covered off everything, or have we got anything else to go over?
The system, there's a question from Meg regarding the default message templates. Meg, the system default templates or messages, we do not have, you cannot customize them, but you can create your own if you don't want to use the system default cover email or templates. So if that's like the system, you don't want to use them, you can customize your own. Correct. Yeah, that's right. The system templates or messages, unfortunately, it's not in there so that you cannot amend. But you can set up your own. A question from Alex. One of my clients has 3 signatories for each document. Okay, let me just open the document. One of my clients has 3 signatories for each of the document I sent. I add all 3 signatories to the document. Will the name name at the top of the messages be addressed to all 3 signatories or just the one? If you got 3 signatures and all the same, you can it will just be the one unless you customize that specific email, because not every it would have the client's, each of the signatories name on it. But if you want to send a private message to each one of them, there is a private message options. That's a good question. Maybe Alex, I'm not too sure. I think if you're asking the documents when it's sent, because the placeholder get the client's name, from my understanding, it would take the name of the persons with their on the client's profile as the name on the client, the name of the clients. But I'm not too sure if you've got 3 signatories and you add it in here. When it gets sent out, it would have the other person's name or the name of the person, the authorized persons of the entity. I'll check on that. I'll come back to you, Alex. Okay, so I pass back to you, Tony.
I think I've covered most things, Tiana, in this module, unless there's something else you wanted to go over.
Yep. So just while we're waiting for any more questions coming from the attendees, as Tony mentioned earlier, when in GovReports, because we integrate throughout the system, except for the financial statements. So if you are preparing the reports from within GovReports, you can access to it from within the form. But if your work process, your workflow is that someone else, a staff member would prepare it, and then someone else would have to approve it before it gets sent out to the clients for signature, then you can save and validate. And so from the saved documents, if the report is a valid report, so if you go to lodgements and go to save reports and see if there's a valid report in there. If there is a valid report, there's a top one. If you click on that, because it's already, yep, okay. So if you click on the 3 horizontal bars, right, and you would have the option for send for signature as well. So like I said, it depends on your workflow. If your workflow is that the internal staff would prepare, get it approved by the senior managers or the partner. Once it's approved, then it gets sent out to the clients. Then this is the next step that you can send for signature as well. Having said that, you also, for those that are using the GovReports practice management tools or the letters and templates, you can prepare the documents and then choose to send for signature from there as well. Tony has access to the enterprise account, so you won't be able to have the practice management tool there. But if you prepare the letters and templates within the system, you'll be able to also send for signature. And if you need to send your own, just go to the App Center, which is the color Rubik Cube, and then go to digital authentication. You'll be on the dashboard for digital authentication where Tony took you earlier. And then you can upload your file. You can also, upload documents for you to sign and then send to the clients, because occasionally, every now and then, you need to sign a contract with a service provider or something like that, and you can use it. You can use it for your own documents as well, to sign the document or to send for document for signature.
Now I have a question,
Okay.
Tiana. Does the eSignature feature come with all the versions of GovReports?
If you are tax or BAS agents, it's inbuilt into this into all the packages. So whether it's the pay packages, actually, the on-demand, the starter package, the growing package, or the professional package is all available within these packages.
Amazing, and there's no charge to use that.
There's no charge at the moment. There's
Perfect.
another question from Meg. When I send a client report, I use the 4-digit code for them to use to access. Come on. To access the file. Where do I set his for each client in contact if it wants 6 digits? So if you go back to the digital authentications, Tony, yep, and go to contacts. Okay, and yep, so the code, security code, can you enter 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6? There you go.
How many does it take? It looks like a lot.
Yeah, so
It takes 10
like
digits.
I would say, depends on your clients. You might set up, like the anniversary date as, like when you have the engagement, yearly engagement or yearly letter, yearly letter that you set up, engagement process. You can also set up the code for them on their profile as well. So this is where you enter the code, you set up the code. Now, having said that, in the ATO client communications, that's a separate thing because it's a random, so you need to set up the code for the clients each time you send out a document, and then perhaps send them a text message. But otherwise, the default message, code is to their email to open the documents.
Perfect. Do we have any more final questions? We're about 7 minutes away from dinner time for most of us, depending on where you are.
So Meg is saying she only wants to use 4-digit code rather than 6 digits. It allows for, yeah, it does. So you can enter, it's minimum of 4 code, I think, but
takes 10 digits.
Can you put just 4 code instead of
just 4? Oh, minimum 6.
Yeah, it says minimum
okay.
6. Right. I think previously we had 4, but I think it was not so secure or something, and that's why the team has changed it to 6.
We'll check with Sandeep and come back on that.
Yeah, we'll check to
so
on that.
we are like the ATO does have a lot of requirements with us around security, so it could be just a thing that we had to upgrade, but we can come back to you on that.
Okay, and there's a questions regarding the radio button. Just hold on from Alex. The radio button and checkbox is not aligning properly. I would check with that with the technical team, Alex, and I'll make a note on that. I will share these feedback to our technical team so that they can review and come back to you. Can the codes be set across the practice? there's a question from Jocelyn. Can the code be set across the practice? Do you mean like for every single one of your clients will be the same code to access the documents? Or for the clients? Oh, okay. So if you mean like if you set the code on your account and then you've got staff working, yes, the code will be across all the whole practice. I'll double check on that as well with Cindy. Yep.
All right, any other final questions before we wrap up, team? Looks like everyone's pretty happy. Are you okay if we wrap up, Tiana?
Yes.
Yep.
Thank you.
Perfect. Well, thanks everyone for joining. Really appreciate you taking the time to learn a bit more about GovReports. Hope we've helped out today. I'm sure Tiana's got some homework to do. She'll speak to the team and come back to you individually and let you know the answers to the questions that you've had. Appreciate that for everyone who's giving us some nice comments there. Thanks so much. The team has been working very hard to continue to build this platform out, and we've got a lot more work to do, so it's going to be a big year for us. But again, thanks for joining. Reach out to us anytime. You can call us or email us. So we are one of the few platforms that does have phone support during business hours. So if you do need any support, feel free to call us, but we don't usually get that many calls because we've designed the platform to be pretty user-friendly. So again, it's been amazing work by the team. The next webinar we have coming up is on Thursday, and that is Managing Your Workflow with GovReports. That'll be hosted by myself and Ali Cochran, who from memory is a BAS agent, Tiana?
Yes, correct.
Yep, perfect. So we'll be running you through a bit more of the workflows of GovReports. Obviously today we focused mainly on the eSignature, but if you are interested in checking out, if you can improve on your workflows or how the work does flow through GovReports, be 5 o'clock on Thursday. Well, I think that's it from us. I'll let you guys go a couple minutes early so we can grab dinner. Again, really appreciate it and looking forward to seeing you at the next one. Thanks, everyone.
Thanks, everyone.